Hello and welcome. My name is Sharon and this is Trio.of.Witches Tarot. In this video, I wanted to go over all of my Robert M. Place decks. I don't have them all. I would love to get a hold of the Vampire Tarot, but that is out of print and so expensive. And I don't have his Marseille deck yet. I don't have I'm thinking about getting the Marseille. I probably won't get the Magnum Opus. And there's another one. He also does a handmade Marseille deck that for just the majors is like $200, and then for the whole set is $600. So probably won't do that. And there's another one that I can't think of now. It's a different system. And I love his art, but yeah, I don't need every deck just to have every deck if I'm not going to use it. So we have the Buddha Tarot, which just came out, which I kind of opinions about a lot of stuff on that one. I wish he had printed it himself. The Alchemical, the Blue Sky Edition, the Sevenfold Mystery, the Burning Serpent Lenormand, and the Angels Tarot, which I was able to save from getting broken up. Actually, saw it posted on a Facebook group that the person was thinking about breaking it up so people could use it for magpies, and I begged them to just sell it to me instead. And it has the book. I don't have the box. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the Buddha Tarot, since it is the most recent deck to get. Well, it actually was a reprint. I think the first edition was almost 20 years ago, and it was Llewellyn, perhaps. And there's other people who are doing side-by-sides of the two editions. I think Esther at Mindful Tarot and Sanskrit Blue, and I'm totally Natalie at Sanskrit Blue. Anyway, so if you wanted to see a side-by-side, you can go there. I looked them up on eBay and they're like going for insane money. So I won't be getting that. Comes in a big box. It's a nice box, but yeah, when I get a big box like this, I don't keep my deck in it. I repurpose these boxes for something else, traveling altars and stuff like that. Anyway, that's the box. Zoom in a little. Okay, so it comes with a really great book, like everything Robert M. Place does. His books are so well researched, so comprehensive, amazing. I don't know a whole lot about Buddhism, to be honest, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to get this, because I figured if anyone's going to do a Buddha Tarot right, it's going to be Robert M. Place, and the book is going to be amazing. I've only barely started reading it, and it is amazing. And the artwork is on point with Robert M. Place artwork. So yeah, it's a great book. I don't have a single bad thing to say about it. I don't know that anybody has anything bad to say about it. And then the cards. So yeah, I have disappointing things to say about the cards. I have trimmed mine and edged it. It had a big black border on the top and a big black border on the bottom. It's not in order. Pause for a second and zoom in. Okay, you should be able to see better now. So first off, there are quality issues with the deck, starting with that I was missing, there's a 22nd major card, an extra major, which was not in my deck, and I had a duplicate of one of the Dakinis. So first disappointment. The backs of the cards, the way it was in the box, It was divided into, and the book was on top of them, and like some of the black, I guess, off of the book, let me actually can see a line here, had rubbed off on the backs of the cards. I was able to clean that up. There is this weird thing where there are two different card stocks. Let me see if I can find it. There's a thinner, more flexible one. And okay, here we go. Here's, yeah, so that's not me, that's them. So there's a thicker cardstock and a thinner cardstock, and there are two different shades of backs. There's one, yeah, it's not an optical illusion, one that's more red and one that's a little more orange. So you have that variation in the colors of the backs for who knows what reason, and who knows what is going on with the fact that some of the cards are stiffer than others. I mean, I just don't even understand what that is possibly about. But on the upside, the art is amazing and the deck is really cool. Make sure that this is, yeah, okay. So I really like it. Other than that, I trimmed it because I have big hands and this deck was just too big even for me. I have huge hands and I can barely. Surprisingly, for this big of a thick deck, you can riffle shuffle it. Oops. So that works. But before I trimmed it, I could not do that because it was just too big. The cardstock does get dinged up. I mean, this came out of the box with the edges disheveled. So I edged it because on the back you could see the white chips in it, and on the front I had to, with a black Sharpie, touch it up because, and then every time I use it, it does get dinged up. It's just not awesome cardstock. So, and I do not have memorized. The suits are different. You have jewels, which, pentacles, I think. Double Vajras are cups, maybe? Do I remember correctly? And then Vajras, wands? Let's see, jewels. It goes through the story of the life of Buddha, which I love this death card. I mean, I would not mind having a whole deck like this. It seems oddly out of place with the rest, but then I don't know the story. So, oh, okay, so maybe jewels or wands, because that's fire there. Yeah, lotuses are not cups. Maybe lotuses are pentacles. See, yeah, I don't. No. I haven't really worked with this yet because I reached out to Red Feather, was it MBS, Mind, Body, Spirit, via Instagram, and they contacted me and said they're sending me a replacement deck, which I have not received yet. And I did send the pictures of the quality issues. I do have to say, I'm even when I get the new one, I'm going to trim it because I think it looks better with the top and bottom off of it. So Natalie, you were asking if anyone trimmed this deck. See, and then it's got weird spots on it. To let you know what it looks like. It actually looks really good. So yeah, this, I don't want to spend my whole video. It's so cool. I love his artwork. Love the fish. Yeah, I don't want to spend my whole video on this. It's very cool. That sun is cool. The moon, if I can find the moon, see if I can find the moon. It was weirdly smaller. Let's see if we can find it. image. So when I trimmed it, it had more of a black border. Where are you, Moon? Yeah, see, it's, I don't know why that's so much smaller. I thought that was weird. And I have a thing about faces on the moon and the sun, so I love Robert M. Place that he does that. Anyway, that is the Buddha Tarot. That is what you can expect from the most recent version of it. I'm a little disappointed because I was super excited, but I do love it. And I look forward to getting a replacement deck and having all the cards and working with it. The next one is my only out of print one, and it is the Angels Tarot. So, like I said, I found somebody who had it, didn't know what to do with it, didn't have the box, but it did have the book. So I'm okay with not having the box. That's fine. I plan on using the cards, not just saving them. There's a cover card. As I've seen, I watched a couple videos about this. The cards do have a bend in them. I have tried my darndest to get the bend out, and I can't. They're not awesome cardstock. I mean, it's, yeah. I don't even think it has a core. So I'm going to have to be kind of precious with it. It's a little bit glossy, kind of that sticky gloss. Hopefully that goes away with usage. I'm going to have to get some of that fanning powder and try it out. Anyway, so it has a nice little book. Talks about the different angels and stuff. Once upon a time I was interested in the whole hierarchy of angels, archangels, and the seraphim and all of that. So that's kind of cool to revisit. And then, I mean, you still have, so you have the angels, and then you have, it's the Fool, and they are numbered. The Fool is unnumbered, but the rest of them are. So it's the Angel of Magic. It's number 1, so you know it's the Magician. It's number 2, it's Gabriel. You'd have to know, right, that that's the High Priestess. That's the Empress. The Emperor. You can tell from the imagery, but if you weren't familiar, this is definitely not a beginner's deck. So I can go through the majors sort of quickly because the rest of it is it is a pip deck, and the images, Hanged Man, that's cool. Death, Temperance, Star, Moon, Sun, Judgment, and the World. I have a hard time remembering because actually some of these are super similar. Like basically the difference is the color. So these are, I put them in order of how I think about them. So this is the Wands, and I guess that you have the branch here, so that should be a symbol for me, I guess. But then you get to like one like this, and you just have to know it's Wands. They are, yeah, very, very plain tips. So let's get to, and then we have a lady, and a knight, and a queen, and a king. And then the cups are with the red wings, and they're turned down instead of up. A rose, and then it's going to go through the same. They're pretty plain. And then we have a lady, and a knight, a queen, and a king. Swords. Yes, yes. which is kind of confusing because there's a rose here and there's a rose here. I don't know. It is a little bit confusing. I mean, I almost feel like, is that a mistake? It's roses? The lady, knight, the queen, and the king. And then finally we have the pentacles. So we have leaves. I guess that's, or I guess it's in a circle, so that makes sense. Yeah, I hope I don't have too hard of a time working with this. I didn't spend an obscene amount of money on this. I wouldn't have, you know, I told the guy that I was buying this from that, you know, he should get what he could for it because I was only willing to spend a certain amount. Otherwise it went over what I can justify spending on a tarot deck. So it was, you know, the same price as an expensive indie, which I'm okay with. And I'm glad to have it because I like Robert M. Place and I'm glad to get the book. So that is the Angels Tarot. So now let's move on to the Lenormand. So I dabbled with Lenormand a little bit after I got this. And I've used it to pair with like the other tarots that I have of his. It's a nice book. It talks a lot about how to, you know, it's Robert M. Place. So he covers a lot of information, which is awesome. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get his Lenormand, so that I felt like, you know, I would not have to buy a different book just to understand Lenormand. So that's the book. And then the deck. It comes with a little white book. I might have had to buy the big book separately. It wasn't a lot though. And it has, if I remember correctly now, yeah, these are super nice quality cards, and it has the Hermes on the back, which is cool. I mean, these are actually, wow, these are really nice cardstock. I wish the Angels Tarot was like this. I'm pretty sure I'm putting those aside because I'm pretty sure there's 2 women and 2 men. Yeah, it's Robert M. Place, and it's, yeah, there we go. And it's a standard, it's Lenormand, you know, there is a whole lot of latitude there. There we go. Does have some extra cards, actually. This one, I think I passed one up. Yeah, her. I think that's it. I like that. I like I mean, it's very clear what it is. It's a mountain. So you have the Isis and Osiris, and then you have 2 men and 2 women. So if you wanted, you know, if you were doing a reading for someone who is not heterosexual maybe, or, you know, there's a lot of flexibility there with that. And I was going to look real quick and see what the deal was with Isis and Osiris, if I can find them. Oh, yeah, this might take me too long. Anyway, it's in the book. And so there is that. Okay, so now, Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery. So this is his giant tome. I have the 3rd edition. It covers so much about the history of the tarot, about alchemy. It covers pretty much RWS systems for the most part. Although, let's find, go back here. So when it talks about, let's say, justice, he does have this book over. So more of a Marseille style, and then the RWS, and then the Alchemical Tarot, and then the Sevenfold Mystery. So I kind of wish he had like a smaller just guidebook rather than this, because this is a lot to reach for, but it is a great book. So that is that book, which sort of guidebook. The deck comes with a little guidebook, so I'm going to zoom in, and it comes in these nice, it's from Hermes Publications, and it comes in a nice cloth box. And it does come with a little white book. What is happening here? Why are these cards like this? Weird. Okay. It's gilded. And it's wearing on the edges, especially from putting it in and out of the box. But not chipping. So it just has an aged look to it, which I'm fine with. I love the backs. Not reversible, I don't care. If I'm reading with a deck and I want reversals and the backs are not reversible, then, you know, I just use a different method to pull the cards where, you know, I'm not subconsciously choosing or not choosing a reversal. So it's a good little white book. I mean, it's still, I mean, he does have a great way of condensing like the alchemical stuff that he has in his deck into this little white book. So, you know, you don't have to have the giant book. You can just apply maybe what's in here plus your understanding of RWS, because it is pretty much RWS based. I could just stare at that back all day. Anyway, so a lot of hermeticism in it, a lot of symbology. You know, you can unpack as much as you want or as little as you want from it. You know, you don't have to. There is a very cerebral aspect to everything that Robert M. Place does. So a lot of times I'll pair one of these tarots with an oracle that is more emotive, more intuitive, like the hero's journey. I'll pair with this. I'm trying to think of what else I've paired with this. Geez, I can't. Oh, the Flowers of Enchantment or something. The one that's flowers and dragons or butterflies. It's like dragon butterflies or something. I can't think of the name of it right now. This almost looks like a card back. It's kind of crazy. And it's Robert M. Place. So, love that card. You know, it's thicker cardstock. It's quality. It's pippish to a degree. But I love this deck. When I just want to know what's going on or what a problem is, and I don't want to like dig into too much emotional, that's not a word, emotional stuff, and more just what should I be doing logically. This is the deck I use for that. What should I be doing to grow? Not so much like my emotional self. So that is the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery. Okay, and the last deck that I have by Robert M. Place is the Alchemical Tarot. I have the 6th edition, which is the Blue Sky edition. I'm happy, I guess I'm actually really happy that I discovered him when this was coming out. So I pre-ordered it because I prefer seeing the other editions with the sort of parchment colored background instead of the blue, which you will see. I prefer this edition. I found this book, which does not come with this. It's out of print. Came, I guess, as a supplement to earlier editions. I found it used, I forget where. It wasn't much. I mean, it was kind of a lot ishy for something like this, around $30 to $40. But I really wanted a smaller book, like I said earlier, with the Sevenfold. That giant book is just too big. And because there's a lot of similarities between the Alchemical and the Sevenfold, I feel like I can use this with the Sevenfold as well if I just want to pull out a smaller book, but something with more than the little white book. So anyway, that's this little book, which you may be able to find. And then there's this. It's in the same kind of, it's the same Hermes Publications, and it's in the same kind of cloth box. It's a little bit smaller of a deck, so I didn't actually, let's compare. So I didn't do this. So it's only a smidge bigger than RWS, and I think, let me grab out this. That looks like from this. Yeah, so the Sevenfold is a little bit bigger than that. So let's do this. So the Alchemical is a little bit wider, and then the Sevenfold is like that. That away. It's a different cardstock too than the Sevenfold. It's not as thick. It's more bendy. It's gilded in silver instead of gold. Those are the backs. It comes with a little white book, just like with the, but it has less information even than the Sevenfold does for the minors. So if you can get your hands on that little guide, the paperback, if you're interested in this deck, I highly recommend it, trying to find it. So I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so we are all zoomed in. So there's a lot of alchemy happening and astrology and a lot of stuff that I don't know a lot about. We have the Torah or the Tarot or Rota on the back there. And it's nice and matte. It's really nice. It's like I almost wish the Alchemical was like this. So let's flip it over and we'll look at some of the cards. Oh, okay, yeah. So the Sevenfold Mystery and this both have mermaids, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I have a thing for mermaids. She is so cool. And weird, but a thing in these more alchemical, hermetic decks with the breast, the blood, and the milk. It's weird. It's a thing. Not my favorite, not my least favorite, though. There's other things that have put me off decks entirely. The Fool is cool. So this is very similar. A lot of these, it has different creatures in it, but it's this kind of the same, a lot of the same symbolism and icons and imagery. That's the word I was looking for, imagery. He looks a lot like, okay, that's kind of crazy. It's like he almost reused that image because they are so much alike. Okay, interesting. And it has two lovers cards, one where they are very active and one that's a little more family friendly, although I don't know. You know, so this card is also, I think there's one in the Sevenfold that is very, very, almost exactly the same. But the pips, and so there's the other lovers. The pips in this are more scenic, I think, than in the Sevenfold for the most part. Like that Hermit. And so it's a take on the three swords and a heart. It's interesting. I like the eye on the heart though. That's interesting. The lion eating the eagle's head. I haven't really worked with this one like I have with the Sevenfold, because I got this after I had gotten the Sevenfold, and I just haven't circled back on. It's a very different world. I haven't circled back on using this. I'm just looking at, wondering how many similarities there are between this deck and the Angels. So, alchemy, Empress, more nudity in this one. Yeah, I have a lot to learn from this. Again, it's Robert M. Place, so it's like, I love his fish. It is much more cerebral. All right, so is that a hare or a rabbit? Like, how do you know if it's if a hare is just bigger, then how do you know if it's a hare or a rabbit if you can't compare them? So if you know, let me know down below, because like it's kind of like with crows and ravens. Like, what the heck? Oh, they're bigger. Well, if they aren't side by side, how do you know? Throws me off. Hierophant is cool. So there is, like, I think in this and in Sevenfold and definitely in the Angels, there is a, I wonder what that, now I want to find death in the Angels. A lot of spiritual angel stuff, which Judeo-Christian, I'm not familiar with other religions, like you know, Muslims, I don't know, do they have angels too? Do I sound dumb? I hope not. Okay, so there you go. So this guy is this guy without the wings, pretty much. Interesting. I should do a side by side. In fact, maybe I will put them in order and do that for just the majors. So I will be right back. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick three-way side by side of just the majors. Just for fun, because I want to. So, the Fool. Are all very different. Wow. It can mean such a different thing with each deck. And the Magician. It's that same body for Adam. High Priestess. Oops. She's keeping it secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. Empress. Huh. So different. The Emperor. He has the globe and he has the orb, but he doesn't. Just an eagle. And he is an eagle. Interesting. Serpent. So interesting here that he doesn't have the triple crown, and he doesn't have any crown, and he does have the triple crown. And their staffs are very different, and he doesn't even have one. There's a book, like kind of like the High Priestess's book that he's decided to open up. Share. Lovers. I just put the less racy lovers there for you. So this is more about, definitely more about making a choice between will and appetite. And this is just Cupid. There's Cupid and Cupid. He's got the little heart with the flame, and so does he. The Chariot. Huh. It's just crazy. It's interesting that this one is riding towards us, this one's riding away, and this one is just facing us. This one's actually riding towards the future, not so much towards us. Oops. And then Justice is 8 in all 3 of them. I like her a lot. That's kind of crazy. Interesting, he's just laying there. He doesn't even have a lantern. And here he has a star instead of a lantern. And then this one, there is usually the lantern, the light is shaped in a star, and it's not. Get the Ouroboros there, so different symbology in every one of them. The wheel, fate. So it's Fortuna. It's kind of weird that it's broken up across like that, and it's probably hard to see. But it has all the signs of the zodiac there. Strength. Interesting, this one's going in a different direction. It's also interesting that none of them are overpowering the lion as much as they are existing harmoniously with them. This guy looks a little afraid, but I would too, I guess, if I had an angel with a torch on my back. And the Hanged Man. The Traitor in the Sevenfold, harkening back to much older tarots. Death. I like her. I like how she's blue. I don't think I've ever really noticed the blue tint to her. I also like these skeleton guys, they're cool. Temperance. She's pouring water on the fire of appetite. The Devil, or Satan, in both in the Sevenfold and in the Angels. Tower. It could not be more different, could they? Star. So every time I see something like that, so the Tarot of the Holy Light, and it has this kind of stuff in it, and it's just crazy. Oops. Moon. I love all of these. I love the moon card. The sun. The marriage of the male and the female, reason and logic. Judgment. Gabriel here. See Gabriel. Yeah, so Gabriel was the high priestess. And finally, the world. Okay, so Robert M. Place decks. Do you have any thoughts on any of them? Do you have any of the other ones, like the vampires? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the vampires because I don't find a whole lot of videos on it. I'm not sure if it would be worth it for me to spend the money on it. I don't know. Themey decks don't always work out for me. I get kind of distracted by the theme. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day or night, whatever time it is when you're watching this. Thanks. Bye.